Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the SU-8, it's the Tier 6 Soviet SPG. This one's located on the south spawn of Abbey, and it's under the command of Angelina75. And it's her first submission for this week's competition. Last week, Talon won the weekend lie-in, and this week it's all fair in love and war. All options are open. And the game is on. .152mm is the caliber, capable of doing 550 alpha and penetrating through 38mm of armor, and standard reload is 19.65 seconds. Angelina's got it down to 15.56. Well, that was interesting because at all that pandemonium, she actually did manage to get a hit on the AMX 1375 for 219 hit points as he zoomed down the Abbey Road trying to get into the castle, but into the Abbey. But in fact, actually what happens, he decided to bail and go into the village instead. And we just saw where the enemy Arty is. Oh, and that was a direct hit on a box tank. Yep, I reckon that the box tank just took a direct hit. And that could be a sizable hit as well, because of course the box tank does have very thin armor around the casement. Okay, that T20 does manage to get into the castle grounds before we get around him. But look at that, we can see that the AMX 1375 is actually really banging away on that setter. And I think he's used up all his ammo, but he's still chasing after the guy. In the meantime, Angelina's going for the T20, rounds out. Only got some stun from that shot. Notice how she's backing up after each shot to make it longer. Yes, because, yeah, that happened. I think the Arty was after the Wizzy 131G though. The enemy Arty are a GW Panther and the M44, and I think that shot came from the GW. And the reason I say that is because it looks like it came from further over to the east. Rounds out the 13. Yes, she did get another splash for 157. Changing position again. There might be enemy tanks in the village. Doesn't know at the moment. She hasn't been spotted, so it looks like they're not at the south end of the village. Looks like a box tank, another box tank, because the enemy has two, has gone into the village. Okay, Angelina's dialing in on the OI. She fires the round in, gets a direct hit for 664. Target of opportunity. But she is changing position, and with good reason. Well, that box tank that was in the village just got taken up by the Wizzy 131G, so we don't have to worry about him. But Angelina does need to change position, both to support the guys up in the north, and also to try and do some damage to the enemy tanks that are coming close to our cap. You can see that the enemy SU-100Y did actually lose 1/4 of his hit points, so presume that is down to Angelina. In the meantime, their T20 is still sitting inside the Abbey grounds. And, oh, we just lost the Fury, and he just got wiped out by the Super Hellcat. Angelina fires a response in, but unfortunately it goes too long. That 1375 is still hanging around the village area. And now we've got a Type 62, the other side of the tower on the north spawn area. Okay, Angelina could put a round on this P43. She's letting it dial in, fires a round in, and wipes him out. So that's her first kill of the game. There's the GW. I was right. Yes, he is further over to the east. The M44 is much closer to our T20. Rounds out in the GW. He just fired. And he's out of the game now because Angelina just splashed him and killed him. So that's her second kill. Meanwhile, that 1375 is getting rather close to the edge of the cap area. Oh! Well, she would have got another kill were it not for that Wizzy 131G who actually finished off that 1375. So the good news is we've got tanks in the village now and up near the enemy cap area. The bad news is the enemy are coming down the river road, and Angelina fires around in to discourage that super Hellcat. The enemy team had 2 super Hellcats. The one that was in the village was wiped out. This is the other one. Angelina's trying to work out where to put the shell. Should be behind those wrecks, but in fact, look at this. M6 is brazenly shot out. She's lining up the shot and rounds out. Direct hit. 213.9. That's a good hit, because now he's very badly wounded, and he's a one-shot for most of our team. Okay, Angelina's reloading. Gonna go for the super Hellcat. A splash will take him out of the game. She fires, and unfortunately the shell goes long and behind him. And he goes down anyway. The kill shot goes to our super Hellcat. Over on the other side of the map, we can see the M44 gets wiped out by our T20. Our Cromwell has just killed the M6, and now we've just got a Basotto up here. And we're trying to get around into him. I didn't mention it, but it's a tier 7 game with tier 6 tanks in it. And the Basotto just managed to get around into our T20, but T20 will beat the reload on him. So he's getting into a position where he can deliver the kill shot. And that's the end of Basotto's game, and it's the end of the game overall, because that was the final kill. Well, that was a good start to the competition for this week, because Angelina75 managed to score a second-class tanker in that game, as well as a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, she got 6. And she also got a Confederate medal as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on her team. And her win rate from that game was 2,701. So that's a strong start to the battle. If we look at the team score, we can see she didn't get the highest damage in the game. That actually went to the T20, who got 2,230 hit points of damage. Second highest damage went to the T20 on the enemy team with 1,646. And the third highest damage, well, that went to Angelina with 1,529 hit points. When it came to kills, it was the T20. He got 4 kills. In joint second places, Angelina with 2, the Wizzy131G FT, the IKV65-2 on her own team, and the M6 and P43 Biz on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, Angelina's in second place, because the T20 got 1,072, the only player to get over 1,000 base. In second place was Angelina with 637, and the Super Hellcat just close behind her with 632. She fired 14 rounds, so a good amount of ammo fired out. 5 direct hits on the enemy, none of them penetrated, but she did get 12 splash, damage of 1,529 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damaged 80 the enemy, killed 2, so there's a 6 differential to get the Confederate. 268 hit points of stun assist off 9 stuns. If that just been a little bit higher, I think Angelina would have got either a first class or an ace. She did complete a mission during that game, and she won 70,949 credits to take away, 50,000 for the mission completion, and 1,911 experience points as well. Now, Angelina did tell me there was something rather funny in this game. She got a message from one of the enemy Arty after the game. Apparently, he knew her. He'd seen the videos on What Arty Noobs, and he'd actually seen Angelina in action before, and so he was okay about being wiped out by her, because he's a bit of a fan of her anyway. So yes, it was very amusing that he came up against her on the NA server. So I think that's going to happen a lot more times when you're playing games. If you are featured regularly on What Arty Noobs, there's every chance that a player you're going to come up against in the game is actually going to be a player that has watched your videos and seen how you've played before. They might know a bit about you, they might know how good you are, but I think it's more than likely that if they're coming up against somebody they've seen play, it's going to make them feel a little bit intimidated, to say the least. But Angelina liked that she actually was recognized. People knew her games from the channel. And in fact, actually one of the reasons why we have the channel in the first place, so people can showcase their work, showcase how well they play in the game, and obviously get recognition for their excellent games. And it's nice to know that people are being recognized, although I must admit, I don't really want to get taken out just because it's me. You know, if somebody actually recognizes general disturbance in a game, please go nicely on me. I don't want to get picked off just because I'm me. But obviously, that's something that a lot of the Unicums actually do suffer because, of course, their names get recognized. People like Quickie Baby tend to anonymize their games so that they don't get picked off. But other people actually play under their real name, and I know that Steve Walsh plays under his real name, 06 Walsh. If you see that in a battle, you know it's him. And there's been a few times where I've actually played against Steve and in a battle. Wasn't sure which one it was until actually I found out at the end which account I'd killed. But yes, it is amusing nonetheless. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.